Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We hope you're having a wonderful day. We have another career-based interview for all of you, and we have Megan Andrews, and she's going to let you know about her career, her path, and what she does day to day.
Okay, my name, Megan Andrews. I work at Layton Southard law firm here locally in Cape Girardeau. We are located in the Bantier Bank building. I am a personal injury litigation attorney, and I am a corporate litigation attorney. So my business is kind of split 50-50. Half of it is doing personal injury work, so people involved in motor vehicle collisions, medical malpractice, slip and fall cases, sport comp injuries. Anybody's injured like that, they come to us, sign up with us, and then we help do what we can to get them fully compensated for the injuries that they've sustained. The other half of my practice is business litigation. My family has had a business in the community for over 50 years. We've had another business in the community for, I think, like 30 or 40 years. So that kind of brought me back to Cape. I had lived in St. Louis for a while, brought me back to Cape. And so I love working with small businesses, helping them figure out basically what to do, especially in the changing times, helping with contract law and making sure that they're fully informed of what we can do to help them.
Well, what would you say is your favorite part about your job?
Oh, my favorite part about my job.
Or if there's several, you could certainly give us several.
I think my favorite part of my job is it's something different every day. So I love coming to work and knowing that my day is not going to be the same every day. There are days where I'm just stuck in my office on my computer typing all day and working, and there are days I'm in the courtroom. There's days that I'm out meeting with clients. So I think my favorite thing about my job is that it's something different every day. So it never gets boring, and it's always exciting. There's always a new challenge every day that helps me just be excited about what I do. I would say the second, probably most favorite thing though, is just helping people. I've always wanted to be able to help people, and I love that I was able to work in a career where every single day when I leave the office, I feel some type of satisfaction for what I did that day. It's rewarding being able to help people when they're in a time of need and actually do something that is very beneficial to them and sets them up right.
That's really great. Now, you kind of touched on how every day is different and there's different challenges. What would be the most challenging part about your job?
I think the most challenging part about my job is probably time management. We bring in a lot of clients. We work on a lot of cases. If I'm in court for 8 hours a day, that doesn't mean that I can just leave. I have to come back to the office. I have phone calls to return. I have emails to return. I think one of the biggest challenges of just being a lawyer in general is being able to have time management to be able to spend the time that you need to spend with every case to make sure that you're giving every single one of your clients the same treatment.
That's great to know. I don't think I can make it then. Now, can you give insight about like your education, your training, like what got you to this point? And did you have any roadblocks or twists and turns during your journey?
Sure. I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was like 5 years old. So I knew that was my path my whole life. So I went to grade school and high school here in Cape. And then I moved to St. Louis. I went to Maryville University for my undergraduate degree, played soccer while I was there. So I did that. My junior year in college, I got in a severe car accident. And I never wanted to do personal injury law at all. But I got in a really bad car accident. I broke both my ankles at the same time, ended up in a wheelchair. My family had moved to St. Louis to take care of me, so I wouldn't have to drop out of school. And so when that happened, I actually wasn't allowed physically to be able to play my senior year of soccer. So I was able to get an internship at a law firm downtown that did strictly personal injury law. And that's where my passion for personal injury bloomed from, because I understand what it's like to be in a wheelchair and not be able to do anything. I understand what it's like when, you're having fun and you're in college and everything's great, and then all of a sudden you can't walk. And your mom has to come live with you for 6 months to take care of you. And your mom and dad have to switch off shifts so that they can be here to work, but then also take care of me so that I didn't have to drop out of school. So it was a very humbling experience. So I do understand what that means when someone goes through those injuries. I personally have done it. So that kind of changed me a little bit because I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. That's all I ever wanted since my family owned businesses. So that threw me into the path of personal injury. So I actually was able to intern with that job because I couldn't play soccer. So I interned with them my whole senior year. They took me on. So I applied for local law schools. I got into St. Louis University Law School. So that's where I attended law school. I worked for that firm all 3 years of law school. They hired me my second year of law school. So I already knew I had a job when I graduated, which was great. Definitely network locally in communities, wherever you're at, because who you know, and the opportunities are great, depending on what school you go to. So I got a job. So when I graduated from law school, I started out my practice there at Schlaprezi's Attorneys at Law. I stayed there until 2014. And then I decided that I wanted to come back home. So I came back home and joined Layton Southard, which was phenomenal. They've been a great place to continue my practice. And when I came home, I went back into the side of corporate. I was able at that time to then expand my practice to go back to one of the original things I loved.
Right. So for maybe students who have this ambition like you did growing up, I know I wanted to be a lawyer, or how would you say is maybe the best way to go about looking for internships, kind of finding what specialty that they're interested in? I know you had a unique experience where you went into that personal injury side, but you had that familiar small business, lifestyle. So what would you suggest to those students in, getting a better understanding at what is out there?
Sure. I think just locally, we do have a really decently large bar, honestly, for Cape Girardeau, for our area. So if it's someone locally to Cape Girardeau, I think if you're interested in a certain practice of law, then I think try to reach out to an attorney who does that area of law. Most of the attorneys around here that we practice with, everybody is very community oriented. They'd be happy to have you come shadow for a day. I think I've had 3 or 4 students shadow me at least in the last 2 years for a day just to see what it's like. I know the judges around here as well are always very friendly, so you can always shadow a judge or a prosecutor for the day. So I definitely think get out in the community, make a phone call. Google law firms in Cape Girardeau, make a phone call, see if somebody, will let you come in. I know our firm does. And then basically just see if you like it. Shadow somebody for a day, see if you like it. If you do, talk to them about where they went to school. Specifically in our firm, we all went all over the place. So, some people locally went to SEMO here for undergrad, and then they went to, we've had some, I think we have 2 of us, I think, are SLU grads. One of us, SIUE, Edwardsville. I think we have some down in Memphis. So, we're all over the place. I think we have one WashU grad as well, that's in our office. So we all kind of stayed local, I guess, to this area, but went away, and we all went to all different undergrads. And I think the biggest challenge I see is everybody thinks, well, if I'm gonna be a lawyer, I have to go to this like Ivy League school, or I have to go to this really expensive university. That's not true. You can go and get a great education locally here at SEMO and then apply to law school. And while you're here, you can network locally with the community. You can locally with the bar. Maybe you can get an internship with one of the law firms here, and they can help you navigate what to do. So I don't necessarily think that people should look at it that it's not something that anybody can do. Anybody can do it.
So when students get to a point in their career, well, they wouldn't be students, they would be full adults of our community. What's that next step? When you are in your position right now, is there room for growth? Do you start your own law firm? What does that look like for students who are thinking maybe beyond 5-10 years?
So I definitely think around Cape Girardeau specifically, I think there are a lot of younger attorneys who have decided to go out and hang their own shingle, and I think a lot of them have been successful. I don't necessarily recommend starting your own firm right out of law school. I think you need to go and get the mentorship that you can get from older attorneys and learn how to grow your practice. I uniquely like working in a firm where there's 5 other attorneys, because if I'm on vacation for a week, I have 5 other attorneys who cover my cases. If I'm sick, I have, other people that can step up and cover. If you open your own practice as a solo practitioner, it's a little bit harder to have a network that can help you with those. So I definitely recommend go into a firm, learn as much as you can from the attorneys that are there. You may decide that you don't even You may want to practice a whole different area of law once you start practicing. So go test it out. If you specifically in CAPE, if you go to a firm, they pretty much do everything. Every attorney does something different. So in our firm, all 6 of us, we cover, I think, 7 or 8 different practice areas. We specialize in certain areas, but we cover 8 practice areas. So, you know, join a little bit larger firm, get the experience that you need. And after 5, you know, maybe 10 years, I definitely think you could start your own firm if you wanted. The other thing that's unique about our area as well is we do have quite a few judges. So if that's something that you're interested in, go get your law degree, go work somewhere where you can get a good 10 years of good litigation experience. Then you could potentially put yourself in a position to also be elected as a judge. So we have that unique position in this area because we have quite a few judgeships.
That's really great. Now, I know that I have heard the term paralegal, okay? And I'm sure some of the students have as well. Can you explain if you guys have some of those and maybe what the difference is between a paralegal and then your position as a whole?
So I actually was a paralegal before I was a lawyer. So I actually got my undergrad degree in legal studies with a certification in paralegal studies. So I actually received a certification as a full paralegal. The difference, I think, in our area between a paralegal and a legal assistant is usually a paralegal has actual legal training from either an associate's degree, university or college, something besides on the job training. So they have some type of certification they've received from somewhere. And normally it's like a basic certification where you learn all different areas of the law and then learn basic skills on filing, how to draft appropriate letters to clients, how to format, how to do certain discovery with most cases. So it's kind of like an overview of how to do basic things for your lawyer. Whereas with the legal assistant, I see more in our area, legal assistants used to just be called secretaries. Now we're calling them legal assistants because they're actually getting on the job legal training. They just don't usually have that certification that says they're an actual paralegal.
So there's different position types within, you know, just like the career of being a lawyer, that you could start there and then work your way up to where you are then, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you could start somewhere as a legal assistant, then you could go get an associate's degree, become a paralegal, and then you could ultimately get your bachelor's and then your law degree and become a lawyer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, my last question for you is, if you had to give your high school self advice about this whole adult thing that we thrive to go do when we're younger, but regarding careers and the journey of being in college or just some post-secondary training, what advice would you give yourself?
I think the advice I would give myself is that you should absolutely enjoy your college career. You know, go out there and have fun, but you have to remember that every decision you make will follow you for the rest of your career. So if you're in college and you're having a good time and you think, well, it's no big deal, you know, I'm still 19, I'm still 20, I don't have to worry about this, it will follow you for the rest of your life. So the biggest thing I think, and I tell younger people as well, is when you apply to law school, you get told you have to pass what's called a character and fitness exam. In order to pass the bar, you have to pass your character and fitness. So your character and fitness is where they examine everything about your life and they determine whether you're fit to be a lawyer. So that can be from a financial standpoint. So do you have a significant amount of credit card debt? You know, they think that potentially you may end up stealing if you come on hard times? Have you, when you were in school, did you cheat on a test because you were out the night before and you're like, oh, it's only one test? Well, then that goes to your credibility as a lawyer. So will you pass your character and fitness because of that one decision you made when you were 19? You know, if you decide that you want to go out drinking with your friends and then you decide that, well, I'm just going to drive home, well, that one DWI could potentially affect whether or not you pass your character and fitness. So even though you're young and everybody should have fun, and I highly recommend that while you're in college because, you know, that is the fun part of, you know, growing up. I think you should always in the back of your mind have that little angel on your shoulder that reminds you that if you do a lawyer, always remember you're going to have to pass the character and fitness. So nothing is worth destroying your career over one night of fun.
That's really great to know. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, they really screen you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they do.
Well, Megan,
Yeah,
thank
and
you
if you
so
don't
much.
pass,
Yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I'm saying if you don't pass, I mean, then that's your dream. You
Yeah.
lose your dream because of one night of fun. It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Wow. I never thought about it that way. It's a little different. It's a little different. Well, that's great information. Megan, thank you so much. I'm sure our students are really excited, especially since you just had a plethora of information to give to them about the different opportunities with, being inside kind of that law career and what you do, the ins and outs. So we really appreciate you taking your time out of your day.
Absolutely. Thank you.